Guys, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening.
How many times you watched that thing? Guess you really miss her. Don't worry, we're almost there. You'll be able to look her up once we're on board. Sounds like you do have a lot of catching up to do.
Of course, I've seen screenshots and trailers and stuff like that in the line of duty, so to speak, but is it just me, or did Dead Space come from out of nowhere?
That's the feeling I got.
The USG Ishimura, biggest planet cracker in her class.
Why is it all dark? I don't see any running lights.
This is mutiny.
I can't even remember reading that much about it before I actually got the review copy. So it pretty much surprised me, and you know, I wasn't really into Resident Evil. I mean, I can see why it's a really good game, but Resident Evil has always frustrated me more than I've been able to enjoy it, mostly because you know you have to conserve your ammo and stuff like that. So I actually just had it laying on my desk for a couple of days before I actually put it in the machine, but man, I've been surprised.
So you mentioned Resident Evil. Why?
You know, it's a horror game, and it's a
so Silent Hill.
Yeah, but true. But it's more of a third-person action horror game. Resident Evil 4 really, you know, switched gears and really made it into a third-person action game, while still, of course, having the horror aspects. And Dead Space, no matter what anyone says, has been heavily inspired by Resident Evil, especially the 4th episode.
So the kind of horror is the same as in Resident Evil 4?
It's more shock horror. Actually, I would say, yeah, it's a bit of both, actually, because Dead Space still has, what really amazed me about Resident Evil 4 and what really scared me was the constant tension. And the tension is also just hugely included in Dead Space, especially if you got a good audio setup, because you can always hear just stuff going on around you where you can't see. Everything is dark, and you know, flashing lights and stuff like that, just like you would see in for instance, Aliens. But you can always hear just people scratching on the walls, screams, everything. So it really freaks you out if you're into that sort of stuff.
I always think about Doom 3 when I see pictures and movies from Dead Space. Are there any truth to that?
I wouldn't say so, because Doom has always just been this pure shooting game. I've never seen Doom as a horror game. I know some people see it as that, but Dead Space actually is more of a horror game. And it's a really weird way to do it, but some of the horror actually comes from the part that you're not this kind of super soldier. You're not just a marine stuck on Mars that just has to exterminate monsters. You're actually just a worker that's been sent to this space station to actually help out with some technical stuff. Of course, you get caught there, but you being a worker, you actually use your tools as weapons. Of course, you find proper weapons later on, but that's actually a dynamic that gives a whole other introduction to pure gameplay.
But how's the general storyline? If we look at, there are some horror games like Silent Hill, which at least the second part of it had a great storyline.
Yeah.
And even though perhaps Resident Evil aren't like Nobel Prize winning literature, the story is okay. How does that work in Dead Space?
If I tell you that it's Event Horizon, if you know that movie, it's your generic story about someone being stuck on a space station where something has gone wrong, and that's pretty much it. The story in itself is actually just about you surviving, constantly getting tips, and of course there's this love story with Isaac as the main character is known. There's this love story with his previous love being stuck on the space station, and she might be alive, or is she just a space station messing with your mind and stuff like that. But that's not really a story. That's just more of we need to put some bits between you shooting stuff. So
It sounds kind of like a classic sci-fi / horror movie. Just a space station.
Yeah.
And monsters, and there you go.
And it is, and that's the amazing thing about it, because it doesn't revolutionize anything. It's just so well put together. I mean, the graphics are awesome. The sound is even better. The sound has to be experienced on a surround sound system. And just, of course, everyone who has seen anything about Dead Space knows that there's no HUD. There's just, you can read everything on Isaac's suit. Like, for instance, how much energy he has, everything, and that just works. Even your item system is just this holographic little picture that comes up, and you can actually see him moving his head around to look at the different stuff, and it just works. It's so immersive. You never get pulled out of the whole experience. Also, I have to mention, talking about this game being immersive, just a small detail that you can constantly hear Isaac actually breathing within the suit, that you can feel that there's a man inside the suit, works so good, especially in the areas where you got and you just have a limited air supply, because you can hear him really just gasping for air, and it works so good. That's such a nice little detail that just adds a whole lot to the game.
But is it scary?
Depends. If you're into like shock horror, like flashing lights and monsters suddenly standing right beside you and screaming and trying, to decapitate you, it's cheesy horror, I would say. It's more so easy horror actually than cheesy. It's not Silent Hill horror where you build up a story about something going really wrong. It's more, man, there are these evil monsters, you have to exterminate them, and if you don't, probably mankind will die. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, then I'll probably make certain to have a friend with me when I'm playing it, because I never got through Project Zero on my own, thanks to just being so afraid. My nerves can't handle that kind of horror.
No.
So I'll just force a friend to play, and I just hide behind the sofa.
Yeah, but make sure to play it.
I will.